Hey there. Good to have you back. You know what I just realized? We still haven't read our journal here. Let's tap into it. Let's read it. Okay, now as you're going along and reading this journal, you'll notice that sometimes it might flip twice like it did just there. If it flips twice, click back once, click again. Just click back and forth and you'll get to the page that you want. No big deal. Okay. Let's go ahead and read this. I'd like to read it. If you don't want to read this part, then or listen to this, then skip ahead. Nobody's feelings are gonna get hurt. All right. 87.610. They held for more than 30 years, but the corrections I made to Riven have finally failed. The island has resumed the familiar pattern of decay that is the hallmark of my father's work. Sorry about the... I hate that frickin'... and there's... With the, it's the, microphone. It always... I hate that. Anyway, whatever. Let's see here. The island has resumed a familiar pattern of decay that is the hallmark of my father's work. I must now race to implement this new patch before it's too late. I only hope that my revised theories are sound. 87.616. Revisions to Riven completed. There are still a number of minor adjustments which need to be made, but the basic corrections have been entered and should be working. Something's not right. I've been monitoring the instruments for several hours now, but have thus far observed no change. There's someone on the wing. Something on the wing. It's possible that I've made an error, though I've checked my entry against my prenotation. I can find no discrepancy. I've not had a rest in nearly 3 days, so it may be that I'm just seeing it, if the fault is with my foundational assumptions, however. Did I read that right? So maybe that's... Okay. Perhaps after a short rest I will see something. Success! It appears that my repairs have been effective after all. The gateway image has become noticeably clearer, and although it is impossible to know this with absolute certainty, the island seems to have quieted itself. Just a few more weeks of work, and I should be free, at last, to go there myself and attempt to bring Catherine back. Oh, this is Atris, okay. Sorry about that. I'll read it in his voice, I guess. The past 8 months have left me with little time to think, to devise a strategy for getting her out of there. I've received no sign from her in all that time. I'm afraid that, no, I must assume that she is all right, lest my fears undermine my efforts to bring her back. Okay, that's annoying. I'll stop doing that. I did not create the age of Riven. Unlike my father. You're not my father. I have never presumed to have such power, and yet the future of all those who live there has fallen into my hands. So far, I've managed to read the page before it turns. The island continues to appear stable, and I would like to believe that I have saved a dying world, but the theories of one individual cannot support the lives of real people indefinitely. I must get everyone off of Riven as soon as possible. The problem now is Gen. I'll never be able to rescue Catherine and relocate the islanders if he is still the man he once was. I haven't seen him in over 30 years, but his history forces me to assume that he is still a threat. His myopic vision to restore the Denis civilization has left too many innocent cultures dying in its wake, and would continue to do so, were he to once again be free of the confines of Riven, or the Fifth Age as he coldly titled it. The universe has been safe from his corruptive influence for the last 33 years, because no one has been able to leave that age, the last linking book out of Riven having been lost in the Star Fissure upon my return to Myst. That was my intention, to maroon my father on Riven, by removing all the existing links to other worlds, and since the art of constructing books had long been lost with the fall of the Denis, he would be trapped there for the remainder of his lifetime, and effectively segregated from the countless other worlds that he would have invaded. Doggone it. Doggone it. Dang it. Okay. In effect, that is what we achieved. But the way it fell, however, was no one's ideal. Though the sting of the incident has gradually faded from my memory, the deep pain of the responsibility for what actually came to be has never left me. At the time, it all seemed to be so clear. Gen's destructive path could not be allowed to continue. But it was never my choice that the innocent inhabitants of Riven, who had already suffered so much, would be the ones to pay for it. Enough! To dwell in the past is to die in the present. The situation is not the same as it was then. The knowledge I have acquired in the years since that time has yet to be applied to this problem. I think I have the solution. Why it did not occur to me sooner, I do not know, unless the idea of it had been pushed out with the thought of my sons. A prison book. Many years ago, pardon me, mouth collapse. Many years ago, during a hunting expedition through the ruins of Denis, I chanced upon a formula for a most universal type of book. For a most unusual type of book. Can't read. Unfortunately, due to the fact that my father was then in the habit of confiscating my discoveries, I was forced to leave it behind. Years later, however, as a part of my efforts to protect the vulnerable worlds linked to the books of my library, I was pleased to find that I could still recall most of the formula, and with little experimentation quickly succeeded in creating one of these devices myself. The procedure is actually quite simple. By altering key lines of text but slightly, a normal linking book's connection can be partially severed, such that anyone who attempts to use the book will be permanently trapped in the dark void of the link. That is, unless somebody else uses the book, at which point that person would become trapped, and the first person displaced back into the world. The technique can be applied to books that have already been written, changes to the original text being so slight that anyone who is unfamiliar with the code will be unable to detect them. If indeed my father has not changed, what better bait could there be than a book that appeared to be a link back to Denis? Dang it. Dang it. There we go. Trouble. My nightly analysis of the island's condition has revealed that the tremors have begun again. The pattern, however, is new. The disturbances are the result of the changes I have made. This did not, at first, concern me. However, tremors of this type were one of the possible side effects that I had anticipated during this initial phase of the island's readjustment. Still, in order to verify my assumptions, I decided to calculate again, incorporating the new data. The results were not what I expected. The damage to the understructure is more extensive than I had realized. I can no longer go to Riven as planned. Catherine, forgive me. I must act while I still have the time. The signs are barely visible, but there's no question that the island's deterioration is accelerating. Total collapse is imminent, unless I can keep ahead, and that is becoming increasingly difficult to do. With every passing moment, I gain a clearer picture of the incredible chaos that my father's economy of worlds has yielded. But it is a dismaying process. The complexity of the problem is overwhelming. There is no end to this. The last few days have all but convinced me that the collapse of Riven is inevitable, and that, at best, I can only strive to delay it now, and hope that at some point the island will become stable enough to risk a rescue attempt. I think I've come up with a way to subdue the tremors. It will require my exclusive attention for at least a month or two, so it may be necessary to discontinue these journal entries for a while. Something truly miraculous has happened. I walked on water. Beyond all conceivable probability, someone has finally found my lost Myst linking book. Myst, trademark, copyright, 1991. And has freed me from this prison. I immediately realized that this could be the solution to my dilemma, and I believe my mysterious benefactor is willing to assist me. I'm still not sure it can work. That's me, by the way, mysterious benefactor. Wait, is that me? I'm still not sure it can work. The logistics of such a scheme are formidable. But the mere fact that it may now be possible for me to continue my repairs to Riven, dang it, and yet proceed with my original intent to find Catherine has given me a renewed hope. Okay, we're going to leave it off there for right now. Sorry about all the reading. Skip ahead if you don't want to see all of it. By the way, if you're at the end of the video now and listening to me doing this, then you didn't skip ahead and you listened to all of it, so that's great. Continue. We've only got a little bit more reading to do, and I'll see you in the next video. I hope you stick around. I'm having fun. Are you? I mean, you know, what else you got to do right now? Nothing really, right? Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. All right. See ya.